Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to look at things that people say when they're arguing, expressions that actually don't mean a lot, they just show that we're annoyed with someone, and these are all British English phrases, and specifically I would say I've heard many Londoners say, so this is the kind of when things get heated and you're having a big fight, we might hear these expressions. Let's start with having a laugh. So if you're having an argument with someone, you'd say this when you're in a situation like an employee shows up for work 2 hours late. Let's say you work in a really busy store, or even better, you work in a pub, and you can't go home until the other person comes. And you don't hear from them, they don't call or anything, you don't know if they're coming or not coming, then 2 hours later in they come, and you say, "You're having a laugh." That means, where have you been? Are you joking? I've been waiting here, I'm waiting to go, and now you just come in. And it has one cross there, because depending on how I say it with the tone, that shows how strong it is. With a laugh is like a joke. It's not as strong as these other examples, which mean something similar. So in the next example here, you're taking the piss. You are taking the piss. If I say that to you, you've done something really awful. Let's say, for some stupid reason, I let you borrow my car for the weekend. You're going somewhere with your girlfriend and you're my friend. I let you borrow my car, but you didn't bring the car back nicely. Oh no. When you brought the car back, the tyre was flat. It was all dirty. You don't know where they've taken your car to. And worst of all, inside the car, there's all these empty condom wrappers and all this empty alcohol in the back. What have you done? You took my car and you do this to me. You are taking the piss. Next, we've got taking liberties. So let me think of an example for this one. This could be like, you've got a YouTube channel and some other teacher comes along and just starts copying you, basically. Then you are taking liberties. You know you're taking liberties by doing that. You're copying, you're taking liberties. Next one, you're doing my head in. Can you just stop? Can you just stop? Stop talking on and on. You're doing my head in. When someone is doing your head in, it's too much noise, it's too much speaking. They're going on and on and on. You don't want to listen. You feel stressed. You're doing my head in. I'm feeling emotional now. You're doing my head in. Next is, you're out of order. You're out of order. Someone would say you're out of order when they would... You're having this is when things get serious, right? Perhaps you're out in a pub. Things are getting really heated and it looks like maybe a fight's going to start, and someone pushes you. They actually push you, or they get in your face and they're like this in your face. You then say, "You're out of order. You pushed me. You got in my face. You're out of order." So out of order, when something's in order, it's tidy and good and nice and the way it should be. When something's out of order, it's gone way too far. It's way too far. Okay, so now we can take taking the piss and taking liberties and put them into nouns. So we can call people piss takers. You're a piss taker. You're an absolute piss taker. If someone's a piss taker, they're always taking liberties, pushing a bit, asking for a bit too much, not doing exactly what they say they're going to do. This person, you don't want to deal with them because everything they do is not what they say. You're a piss taker. Stop it. Piss taker. A liberty taker is the same kind of thing, but it's not It's not as strong because we're not swearing. Piss taker is swearing, liberty taker is not as strong. So in arguments, what a person might say if I really want you to believe me, let's say I've given you a really big, long excuse. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. You can trust me. On my mother's life, I didn't do it. I didn't put those condoms in the car. I don't know who did it. On my mother's life, it wasn't me. So somebody says this when it's just a way of saying, believe me, I'm telling the truth. And I mean, life experience has taught me that when people say on my mother's life, they usually are lying. They're swearing on their mother's life, but they're actually lying. Right? That's the reality. But the words mean believe me. Next, we've got do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and jog on. Jog on, I haven't written there, but jog on means like go away in Cockney kind of talk. Do yourself a favor is an expression for just to show that you're just stressed with someone. Do yourself a favor and grow up. Stop being childish. So the meaning comes from whatever you say next, really. Do yourself a favor and get a job. So you just use that expression and put whatever's next on it. When you do yourself a favor, to do someone a favor, it means doing something good for them or helping them. Or when you do yourself a favor, it means help yourself. So do yourself a favor, get a job, stop being a bum, means do something good for you. Next one is get over it. If you want someone to get over it, it's like, well, this has happened now. What's done is done. Stop talking about it now. Can we stop talking about the same old things all the time? Let's move on. Get over it. Get over it. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore. End of. Not talking about this more. Next is get over yourself. Get over yourself. Who do you think you are? Get over yourself. Someone who needs to get over themselves thinks they're so special and like got a special English teacher. They need to get over themselves. Get over yourself. And the last one here, at the end of the day, it means actually means nothing. It's more of a cliche. When people are arguing and saying what they think in an argument, they'll start this phrase which means nothing, and it'll be like, at the end of the day, I've done everything I can now. I told you everything that happened, so that's it really. At the end of the day, I can't pay you back for what I did to the car because I haven't got any money. So you just take that phrase and, add whatever the thing is you want to say. It doesn't have a lot of meaning in itself. It's just used a lot in these kind of argumentative situations. So thanks for watching, everyone. And now you can do the quiz on this lesson. And join me again soon. Bye.